The birthday banner drooped in the corner, like it knew the evening was doomed from the start. Its glittery, "Happy 19th birthday" letters clashed with the thick tension wrapping around our dining table in the old Victorian house on Maple Lane in Evergreen Grove, Washington. A grocery store rotisserie chicken sat cooling next to instant mashed potatoes and a store-bought sheet cake that my stepmother Victoria had sworn she'd bake herself. "Smile, Ava," Victoria said from across the table, her lipstick too pink and her voice too sweet. She beamed at me while her wedding ring tapped against her water glass. My half-siblings, Ethan and Sophia, slouched in their chairs, thumbs flying across phone screens. Soft notification pings mixed with the scrape of forks. Dad's voice crackled through my phone propped against the salt shaker. "Sorry about the work emergency. Sweetheart. These deals won't close themselves. Happy birthday, Ava." His words sounded far away. Tinny. I pushed peas around my plate, remembering birthdays when Mom was still here. She'd spend weeks planning, hanging real streamers, baking her famous chocolate cake from her grandmother's recipe. The memory lodged in my throat like a stone. Victoria cleared her dishes with practiced efficiency. Then she paused, throat clearing dramatically. "Now that we're all finished, we need to talk about your future contributions to this household." The words dropped like a hammer. My fork stopped midair. "You're an adult now, Ava. Adults pay their own way. Starting next month, your rent will be $700 a month." Sophia's phone slipped and clattered on the table. Even Ethan looked up from his screen. "If you can't manage the payments, you'll need other arrangements by the end of summer," Victoria continued, smoothing her napkin with calculated calm. "I'm sure you understand." My chest tightened. Through the dining room window, I could see the rose bush Mom planted 20 years ago. Pink petals drifted in the evening breeze, scattering like forgotten memories across the lawn. "Do Ethan and Sophia pay rent?" The question came out soft but steady. Victoria's smile never wavered. "They're still finding their footing. You're different. You're an adult now." That word, adult, hit like a slap, shattering the fragile peace I'd clung to for years. Suddenly, I was 5 again, standing in front of Mom's casket in a black dress that itched at my neck. Grandma and Grandpa Reynolds had held my hands, anchoring me while this house wrapped around me like a protective blanket. Every corner once echoed with Mom's laugh. The changes came slowly after Victoria moved in. Family photos vanished from the walls. Mom's quilt ended up in a garbage bag in the garage. New rules sprouted like weeds. No shoes on the carpet. No using the good dishes. No sitting in the living room after 8. My bedroom gradually shrank. First, the craft table disappeared. Then my bookshelf. "You need to learn to live with less," Victoria had explained in that gentle, snake-like tone. I stood up, legs steady. The property deed waited in my bedroom safe, tucked between Mom's last birthday card and Grandma's silver locket. I'd kept that secret close, letting it warm me through endless cold dinners. "I won't be paying rent," I said, voice carrying Mom's quiet steel. "This is my house." Victoria laughed, sharp as shattered glass. "Excuse me?" I left without another word and returned with the deed. The legal language stood bold on cream paper. The property transferred in trust to Ava Reynolds upon the death of her maternal grandparents, Edward and Margaret Reynolds. Victoria snatched it, eyes racing across words she couldn't erase. Her fingers trembled as she dialed Dad. Ethan and Sophia abandoned their phones, faces pale. "Jonathan," Victoria's voice pitched high, "you need to explain something to your daughter." Dad's sigh filled the speaker. "The house belongs to Ava. Her grandparents left it to her." Victoria's face cycled through shock, rage, and cold calculation. She shoved back from the table, chair leg screeching. "We'll discuss this when your father gets home." She stormed out, Ethan and Sophia trailing. The front door slammed. Their car peeled away, leaving tire marks on the driveway Mom and I had painted one summer. Alone in the dining room amid dollar store decorations and cooling food, I felt the house settle around me with familiar creaks. For the first time in years, the walls seemed to embrace rather than trap me. This home had sheltered 3 generations of Reynolds women. Now it would shelter me through whatever storm came next. That night, sleep wouldn't come. I stared at glow-in-the-dark stars Mom helped me stick on the ceiling 14 years ago. Their faint gleam reminded me of better times. The kitchen faucet squeaked downstairs, Victoria's signature two-twist stop to avoid drips. I needed chamomile tea, but stayed frozen. Her whispers rose through the heating vent, urgent and cutting. "Jonathan, listen to me. She has to go. This changes everything." My bare feet hit the floor. I crept to the stairs, pressing against the wall to avoid the creaky 4th step. Ear turned toward the kitchen. "I don't know, Vicky," Dad's voice crackled. "The house is legally hers." Victoria's tone shifted to honey sweet, the same one she used selling overpriced supplements. "Think about it. She's 19. She should be spreading her wings, experiencing life away from home. University of Washington has a great social work program, 4 hours away. For her independence." A long pause. The faucet dripped once. "Twice." "That's far," Dad said. "You want her strong and capable, don't you? Like Claire was." The mention of Mom's name stole my breath. A dish clinked in the sink. "Maybe that's best for everyone." Dad sighed heavily. The words punched through me. I retreated upstairs, careful on the carpet Victoria had chosen to replace Mom's hardwood. My door clicked shut like thunder. Sleep came eventually, but morning felt too soon. Victoria's perfume lingered in the hallway. The same scent from Dad's company Christmas party where she'd cornered his boss about insurance policies. That memory sparked an idea. I waited until the house emptied. Victoria to her supplement sales meeting. Ethan and Sophia wherever they spent their days. Dad's home office filing cabinet hadn't been touched since Mom died. The drawer scraped open, revealing medical records, tax forms, Mom's old teaching contracts. Behind a folder labeled Christmas Cards 2015 sat a newer document. My fingers shook pulling it free. Life insurance policy amendment naming Victoria as primary beneficiary. A hysterical laugh escaped. The walls that once held family photos now echoed emptiness. Victoria had taken them down, just cleaning the frames. They never returned. College brochures covered my bed when I went back upstairs. University of Washington, Oregon State, places with high out-of-state tuition and thousands of miles away. A yellow sticky note in Victoria's precise handwriting, just some options to consider. The attic ladder, pulled down, felt like climbing a mountain. Mom's hope chest waited in the corner, dust coating the brass latch. Inside, her wedding dress nestled in tissue paper beside the baby blanket she'd knitted while pregnant with me. A cream envelope rested on top. My name in Grandma's elegant script. "My dearest Ava," the letter began. "This house has sheltered 3 generations of Reynolds women through their storms. Your great-grandmother raised 4 children here alone after the war claimed your great-grandfather. Your mother found refuge here when college dreams felt impossible on a teacher's salary. Now it will protect you. The walls remember our laughter. The garden holds our tears. Every window frames a memory of love. The deed is yours because you are the keeper of our stories. Trust your heart, sweet girl. It carries our strength. With all my love, Grandma." Tears splashed onto the paper. I hadn't cried properly since the real funeral. Not the performance Victoria arranged later for Mom's headstone. The baby blanket still carried faint traces of Mom's lavender lotion. I pressed it to my face, shoulders shaking, until Sophia's voice drifted up from below. Mom says we can sell all this old junk in the attic once Ava moves out. My friend's mom knows an antiques dealer. The tears stopped. My spine straightened. Mom's silver locket warmed against my throat. Later that afternoon, downtown Evergreen Grove smelled of fresh coffee and car exhaust. The law office where Grandpa once worked sat between a flower shop and a tax service. The brass plate now read Anderson and Williams, but the leather chairs in the waiting room felt unchanged. Miss Reynolds, Mr. Williams stood as his secretary showed me in. I've been expecting you. He pulled a thick folder from his drawer. Grandpa's handwriting on the tab. Your grandmother asked me to hold this until you needed it. Given your father's call this morning about property rights, I'd say that time is now. My eyebrows lifted. Dad called you, asking about ways to contest the deed. He settled his reading glasses. I reminded him Judge Reynolds knew exactly what he was doing with your trust. The folder revealed documents, property tax records, maintenance schedules. A smaller envelope fell into my lap containing a business card, Palmer Property Management, because home matters. Grandma's note. Ask for Sarah. She helped Claire find her way. 2. An hour later, Sarah Palmer's office smelled of cinnamon. Her silver hair caught afternoon sun as she reviewed the trust documents. Honey, she set down her glasses. It's time someone told you what real power looks like. She spread papers across her desk like battle plans, property codes, tenant rights, market rental rates. Your mother sat in that same chair 15 years ago, right after she bought out your father's half of the house. She knew someday you'd need options. My throat tightened. Options to define what home meant and to protect it. 3 hours later, the front porch light glowed when I pulled into the driveway. Victoria's car occupied my usual spot where Mom's rose petals fell. Tomorrow I'd start documenting everything. Tonight I opened my laptop and created a spreadsheet titled Household Expenses and Labor 2022 to 2025. The numbers told a story Victoria never wanted heard. They also told me exactly what to do next. Morning brought Victoria's artificial cheer and burned coffee scent. She hovered by the kitchen island, designer handbag placed precisely. I hope you've reconsidered our discussion about household contributions. Her smile stretched tight. The folder in my hands held 3 years of receipts, chore logs, and maintenance records. Each page represented pieces of myself I'd given trying to earn a place in my own home. I set it on the counter, letting it fall open to the first spreadsheet. You're right, I said, voice carrying Mom's quiet strength. It's time we made things official. The morning sun poured through kitchen windows as I arranged 3 white rental agreements beside 3 plates. My hands steady, heart racing. Upstairs came the symphony of Victoria's morning routine, shower running, Sophia's music thumping, Ethan shuffling. Dad's latest business trip stretched into its 2nd week. The thought pricking like a splinter. I cracked eggs into a bowl with Mom's old wooden spoon. The familiar motion centered me. Through the window, her rose bushes nodded in the breeze. Footsteps on the stairs. Showtime. Victoria swept in first, wrapped in silk robe. Ethan and Sophia trailing like drowsy ducklings. Her perfume overwhelmed Mom's roses. Something smells wonderful. Her smile sparkled falsely as she slid into her chair. Her hand froze reaching for coffee when she spotted the document beside her plate. What's this? Her voice sharpened. I poured orange juice, fighting to keep steady. Rental agreements. $700 monthly starting next month, the same amount you demanded from me yesterday. Adults should contribute equally. Right? Victoria choked on her coffee. Ethan's fork clattered. You can't be serious. Ethan pushed back, chair screeching. This is ridiculous. Sophia's eyes welled. We're family. You can't charge us rent. Family contributes, I replied, words tasting like victory. I've been doing it for years. I spread butter on toast, letting silence stretch. Then I counted on my fingers. Last Thanksgiving, I cooked the entire meal while you went Black Friday shopping. Last summer, I painted the exterior alone in 90-degree heat. My high school graduation, you left early for Ethan's friend's party. My voice stayed steady as I pulled the folder. I've kept every receipt, documented every chore, calculated market value for my labor. The papers thumped down. 3 years of contributions. Victoria shifted from shock to calculation to tears. After everything we've done for you, she wavered. Taking you in like our own. Taking me in? A sharp laugh escaped. This is my house. You moved into my space. Removed my mother's photos. Tried to throw away her quilt. Dad won't stand for this. Ethan jabbed. Phone out. Put him on speaker. He should hear this. The phone rang 3 times. Ethan, what's wrong? Dad sounded thick with sleep. Your daughter has lost her mind. Victoria snatched the phone. She's trying to charge us rent in our own home. My home, I corrected quietly. The home my grandparents left me. The one Mom grew up in. Silence crackled. Everyone contributes equally, I continued, or finds other arrangements. Ava, Dad strained. You can't just, I can. I am. The wooden spoon felt solid. I've managed this household for years while you treated it like a hotel. That ends now. Victoria rose. Chair toppling. We're not paying a penny to live with an ungrateful child. Then I'll expect your keys by the end of the week. Doors slammed upstairs. Drawers crashed. Sophia wailed into her phone. Dad will never forgive you, Ethan jabbed. You'll regret this. The whole town will know what kind of person you are. What kind is that? I met his gaze. Someone who stands up for herself. 10 minutes later, Victoria reappeared with a hastily packed suitcase. Mascara smeared. You'll be sorry when you're all alone in this big empty house. The front door slammed hard enough to rattle windows. Car engines revved. Only then did I exhale. I walked through suddenly vast rooms, touching walls that sheltered 3 generations. In the living room, I found Mom's wedding photo face down. New cracks spiderwebbing the glass. My fingers traced the fracture, an apt metaphor. Yet Mom's smile still shone through. I unlocked every window. Fresh air rushing in with rose scent. For the first time in years, I breathed fully. The house creaked like a lullaby. Being alone didn't feel like drowning. It felt like breaking the surface. 3 days later, the phone wouldn't stop ringing. Each vibration rattled accusations against the kitchen counter. Dad's name flashed for the 12th time. A text appeared. Ava Reynolds. Pick up this phone right now. The full name pulled me back to childhood scoldings and scraped knees. But I wasn't that girl anymore. I answered on speaker. What have you done? His voice splintered through the kitchen. Hello to you too, Dad. I folded dish towels. Motion steadying my hands. Victoria called in hysterics. Ethan and Sophia are devastated. How could you throw your own family out? The word family stuck like a thorn. I established boundaries in my home. Your home. He spat. That house has sheltered all of us. You can't just what? Protect what's legally mine? What Mom and her parents left me? Silence crackled. Then softer. Dangerous. I'll be there first thing tomorrow morning. We're fixing this. The line went dead. I slept in Mom's old bedroom that night, wrapped in the rescued quilt, rose shadows dancing on the ceiling. Morning brought tire crunch on gravel. I watched from upstairs as Dad's SUV parked crooked. Victoria sprang out first, Ethan and Sophia trailing like storm clouds. The doorbell rang. I counted to 10 before descending, each step measured. Through beveled glass, their shapes blurred into judgment. Dad started the moment I opened the door. Ava. This has gone far enough. You need to apologize and make things right. I'm not apologizing for enforcing my property rights. Victoria pushed forward, purse swinging. You're not coming inside. The words came firm. Excuse me? Her eyebrows arched. You're not welcome in my home without an invitation. Dad's face flushed rose red. Victoria's threatening to leave me unless you fix this. Is that what you want? To break up our family? The manipulation hung obvious. 5 years ago it might have worked, but I'd spent too many nights listening to their whispered plans to push me out. I heard you both that night in the kitchen, I said steadily. Dad's color drained. Planning to send me across the country for college for my independence. I found the life insurance papers too. When did you change the beneficiary to Victoria? His silence confirmed it all. Behind him, Victoria's fingers drummed her purse. Your father has been nothing but good to you, she snapped. You ungrateful little. We'll contest the property deed, Ethan interrupted. Phone in hand. I've been researching. You can't contest what's ironclad. I leaned against the doorframe. But feel free to waste money on lawyers. Sophia burst into tears. Mascara streaking. Where are we supposed to go? I'm not responsible for housing adults who refuse to respect me.
Ava.
Be reasonable, Dad pleaded, the same tone he'd used asking me to give up my craft room. Take the smaller bedroom. Understand why we couldn't display Mom's portrait anymore. I stepped onto the porch, pulling the door closed. The key cooled my palm. You have 10 minutes to collect any remaining essentials. Victoria doesn't enter without supervision. My voice carried across morning air. After that, please don't return without an invitation. You can't, Victoria started. The police are on speed dial if needed. Something in my tone reached them. Dad's shoulders slumped. He went in alone. Through the window, I watched him gather items from his old office. His wedding photo with Mom remained in the drawer where Victoria banished it. He left it. No goodbyes. Just slamming doors, growling engines, crunching gravel. I pressed my palm to cool glass until taillights vanished. Tears came hot but cleansing. Less grief and more renewal. I retrieved Mom's photo, dusted the frame, and placed it on the mantel where empty hooks waited years for its return. Later, curled in her reading chair, words flowed in my journal like Mom's roses climbing their trellis. Today I became my mother's daughter again. The house creaked. No longer battlefield but sanctuary. Outside, her roses nodded promises kept. Morning sunlight streamed through master bedroom windows, painting golden rectangles on hardwood. Mom's room.
My room now.
The thought still caught my throat as I traced her old dresser, remembering her brushing hair while I played at her feet. Ethan and Sophia's abandoned magazines littered floors. Victoria's designer shoes scattered like fallen soldiers. A half-empty perfume bottle teetered near the vanity edge. They fled 3 days ago, leaving chaos. My reflection in Mom's mirror showed someone stronger. A glint of silver caught behind Victoria's jewelry box, Mom's antique hairbrush with rose engravings. Beneath lay hidden photographs, Mom and Dad's wedding, my 5th birthday, last Christmas before illness. I found you, I whispered,
Pressing them to my chest.
The house creaked as if relieved. Mrs. Patterson from next door appeared at the gate clutching a casserole. I noticed the others left, she said carefully. Your mother and I traded recipes across this fence. She'd want you to have proper food. Behind her, Mr. Wilson slowed his walk. Anderson's sisters whispered. The rumor mill turned. Thank you, I straightened. Mom always said you made the best tuna noodle casserole in Evergreen Grove. Her eyes softened. She was a good woman. She'd be proud seeing you stand tall. The word proud warmed me. Mom's recipe box sat on the counter, the cards in her flowing handwriting returning home. Reality hit during my meeting with Mr. Grayson. The financial advisor. His office smelled of leather and coffee. Property taxes are quarterly, he pointed to columns. Insurance, utilities, maintenance add up. Your part-time hardware store salary won't cover it with college tuition. That evening I wandered rooms with new eyes. High ceilings, once protective, now loomed with price tags. The empty dining room where Victoria hosted bridge clubs stood sunlit. Sarah from Palmer Property Management walked the house next morning. Shoes clicking, tablet in hand. The rental market is strong. A house like this with a garden could lease for enough to cover expenses and more. We reached the detached garage's upper-level in-law suite. This could convert to your perfect apartment, private entrance, separate utilities. The solution unfolded beautifully. I could preserve the house, fund education, maintain independence. Grandma and Grandpa's gift becoming exactly what I needed. Emily arrived that weekend with painting supplies and 80s radio. We cleared Victoria's decor from the garage apartment while singing along. Remember playing house up here in middle school? Emily asked. Rolling mint green paint. You always wanted to be the mom. I smiled, wrapping Mom's china for attic storage. Now I get to be the landlord. Speaking of landlords, Emily blew hair from her face. Your dad's car just pulled up. My stomach tightened. Jonathan stood in the driveway clutching a manila envelope. Shoulders stooped. At the front door, he thrust it forward without eye contact. Victoria's lawyer drew up paperwork about compensation for improvements. I left the envelope unopened on the porch swing. A week later, Victoria's personal note arrived threatening legal action for unjust enrichment and demanding payment for granite countertops installed 2 years ago. My family attorney's 2-sentence response dismissed claims calmly. Texts rolled in after, Ethan warning of regret for selfishness. Sophia pleading family unity. Victoria's cycling threats and guilt trips. Jonathan's messages hurt most, accusations of betrayal wrapped in fatherly disappointment. I changed my phone number Tuesday. The wireless store clerk smiled sympathetically, transferring contacts. Fresh start. I blocked Jonathan on social media. That evening I sat in Mom's garden as sun set, surrounded by roses she planted decades ago. Their perfume mingled with herbs I'd added, life building on life. Growth covering wounds. A half-finished letter to Jonathan sat in my journal. Words I'd never send. My therapist's voice echoed. Boundaries aren't punishment.
Ava.
They're protection. A hummingbird darted among zinnias, wings catching light. I watched it hover, recalling Mom teaching me stillness for trust. Some lessons took years. The house stood quiet behind me, no longer haunted by false smiles. Tomorrow I'd review rental applications with the property manager. Next week contractors would renovate the garage apartment. Tonight belonged to the garden. Memory. And letting go. I touched the silver locket at my throat containing photos of Mom and grandparents. Their love built these walls. Planted flowers. Created sanctuary. Now my turn to help it grow anew. 3 months later, the plastic storage bin scraped across dorm room floor as I slid it under the twin bed. My roommate Sarah glanced up from her phone. Round face curious. That's the last one, I announced, brushing dust from jeans. The 12 by 14-foot room at University of Washington felt cozy after the sprawling Victorian. Sarah's string lights cast gentle glow. You're the first person happy about dorm life, she said, tucking feet under tie-dye comforter. Most complain about missing family. I touched the silver-framed photo on my desk, Mom's unchanged smile from our last summer vacation. Some families are complicated. Sarah nodded without pushing. Rare kindness. Through the third-floor window, sun gilded red brick campus. Students streamed past laughing. None knew my story. Here I was, just Ava. Not the girl whose stepmother tried evicting her. Not the teen managing household while peers planned prom. My phone buzzed with text from property manager Mrs. Henderson. New tenants move in today. Photos showed 3 kids racing through mom's garden. Parents unloading moving truck. The roses are blooming early. Anna says the house feels like it was waiting for them. Warmth unfurled in my chest. I zoomed on children's excited faces. The youngest reached for a pink rose. Mother redirecting gently. It pulled buried memories of mom guiding my hands among thorns to deadhead blooms. Rental income covered tuition. Practical side celebrated. But laughter echoing through childhood home brought tears. Life flowed again. Not stifling silence. A knock brought RA with letter. No return address. Familiar handwriting. Sophia. Heart stumbling. I broke seal.
Ava.
I should have told you about Ethan's gambling. Victoria was desperate covering debts. That's why she pushed rent. Doesn't excuse what they did. But you deserve truth. Dad and Victoria are divorcing. He saw through her. But it took losing you. I don't deserve forgiveness. When ready, I'd like coffee to talk. Sophia. The letter trembled. Sarah pretended scrolling but glanced concerned. My stepsister. I explained, folding paper. Apparently Dad's leaving his wife. Is that good news? I tucked it between deed and locket in Mom's recipe box. It's just news. Autumn breeze carried fallen leaf scent. In therapy Dr. Chun spoke of change seasons. Growth often felt like loss first. My quiet strength built slowly like tree rings, nourished by Mom's love, grandparents' foresight, even Victoria's cruelty lessons. My laptop chimed confirming social work major declaration. Coursework included helping young adults navigate family trauma. Something clicked, using my story and rental income to create foundation for others caught between abusive families and independence. Mom's garden still bloomed under new hands. Rooms witnessing my pain now sheltered another's joy. In this tiny dorm surrounded by textbooks and possibility. I bloomed too. Sarah interrupted. Hey. Floor meeting in 10. Want coffee after?
Sure.
I stood catching reflection, smile mirroring Mom's in silver frame.
Quiet.
Knowing.
Strong.
Manager's next text showed youngest tenant placing home sweet home sign. Below in crayon. Thank you for sharing your house. I traced words. Remembering scared girl fighting for building actually fought for future. Losing toxic family led to finding myself. Coming? Sarah asked. Dangling keys. I slipped phone in pocket. Leaving past weight behind. Yeah. I'm coming. The dorm room felt smaller each day as autumn deepened. But in the best way, like a cocoon rather than cage. Sarah and I fell into easy routines, late-night study sessions fueled by campus coffee. Shared headphones blasting playlists while unpacking the emotional residue of my summer. She never pried about the letter from Sophia, respecting the boundaries I'd learned to set. That space felt like the first real gift I'd given myself since claiming the house. Rental updates from Mrs. Henderson arrived weekly. The new family thrived, kids' laughter carried through video calls she sometimes sent. Anna, the mother, planted herbs alongside Mom's roses, sending photos of blooming lavender that smelled faintly like childhood memories when I closed my eyes. The income not only covered tuition but allowed small upgrades, new storm windows for the Victorian, fresh mulch for the garden beds. Each deposit felt like quiet validation. The house protected me as Grandma promised. Now I protected it by sharing it responsibly. One crisp October afternoon I sat in the campus quad, journal open, drafting the foundation proposal inspired by Dr. Chen's sessions. The Reynolds Sanctuary Fund, I wrote tentatively. Seed money from 3 months' rent would support scholarships or emergency housing for young adults escaping toxic family dynamics, especially those inheriting property but facing legal or emotional battles. Using my story felt vulnerable yet powerful, transforming pain into purpose. Social work professors encouraged it, seeing potential in turning personal narrative into systemic change. Dad's attempts at contact slowed after I blocked him everywhere. Occasional letters arrived via certified mail. Formal apologies mixed with justifications. I filed them unopened in a box labeled Past in my dorm closet. Victoria tried one last ploy through a mutual acquaintance, spreading rumors in Evergreen Grove about my ungrateful nature. Mrs. Patterson called to warn me, voice warm with solidarity. Your mother would have handled it the same way. Proud doesn't begin to cover it. Those words anchored me when doubt crept in during lonely nights. Sophia's letter remained in the recipe box. Forgiveness wasn't on the table yet, but curiosity lingered. Maybe someday coffee in neutral territory. Ethan stayed silent, perhaps buried in his own consequences from the gambling revelations. The divorce proceedings, per public records I cautiously checked, moved forward without my involvement. Jonathan had chosen his path, I chose mine. Holidays approached. Sarah invited me home to her family in Seattle for Thanksgiving. No pressure, she said. But my mom makes killer pie and zero drama. The offer warmed me. Spending the holiday in a house filled with genuine laughter rather than tension felt like another layer of healing. I accepted, bringing Mom's recipe for cranberry sauce as my contribution. In quiet moments, I visited the house virtually through property manager tours. The in-law apartment renovations finished beautifully, soft lighting, modern kitchenette. My personal sanctuary, separate yet connected. When summer came, I'd return to manage maintenance personally. Perhaps host Emily again for garden days. The hummingbirds still visited, trusting the space as Mom taught me. By December finals week, the foundation paperwork neared submission.
Dr.
Chun reviewed my personal statement. You've turned survival into advocacy, she noted. That's rare strength. The words echoed Grandma's letter. Trust your heart. It carries our strength. Walking campus paths dusted with first snow, I felt Mom's presence. Not as haunting ghost, but guiding light. The house on Maple Lane stood as testament, shelter through storms. Keeper of stories, now blooming forward. I no longer feared being alone. The family I lost taught me what I wouldn't accept. The family legacy I claimed taught me what I could build. In the dorm mirror each morning, my reflection showed growth, charismatic not from performance, but authenticity. At 19, I'd faced eviction threats, legal battles, emotional manipulation. At 20, I'd major in social work, fund support for others. Honor 3 generations of Reynolds women by living fully. Sarah waited by the door one evening. Scarf wrapped against chill. Coffee run before study group? The question simple. The friendship profound. I grabbed my coat. Silver locket catching light. Let's go. Stepping into winter air. I carried no resentment's weight. The shocking demand that birthday night had forced truth into light. The house was never Victoria's to claim. It was mine to protect, share, and let grow. And in doing so, I finally grew too. What lingered most wasn't anger at the stepfamily's betrayal, but quiet wonder at resilience. How one young woman's stand against manipulation rippled into independence. Education.
Purpose.
Boundaries saved me. Forgiveness might come later or not at all. That remained my choice. The moral thread. Home isn't walls or blood alone, but the courage to claim safety, rewrite toxic patterns, and bloom where planted, even if it means replanting yourself.